The deep-sea research submarine EREBUS descended slowly into the dark chasm of the ocean trench. On board were 5 crew members, each with their own reason for joining this high-stakes expedition. Captain Aidan Rayner gripped the controls tightly, his face lit by the faint glow of the console. This dive was his last chance to salvage a tarnished career. Dr. Elena Morozova, the marine biologist, eagerly scanned the sonar for signs of undiscovered life. The others, Engineer Marcus, Navigator Claire, and the technician Jonah, were tense but focused. As they passed 10,000 feet, the comforting light of the surface faded. The water turned inky black, the pressure outside increasing with every meter. The occasional flash of bioluminescent creatures was their only company. "We're entering the trench," Claire announced. Her voice was steady but betraying an edge of unease. Suddenly a loud clang echoed through the hull. "Just the pressure adjusting," Marcus reassured, but Aidan's furrowed brow said otherwise. The hum of the engines faltered momentarily, then steadied again. The team exchanged nervous glances. They were far from the reach of rescue, and the abyss was only just beginning to reveal its secrets. Hours into the dive, the submarine glided past jagged rocks and a forest of glowing anemones. Dr. Morozova was mesmerized, cataloging the strange bioluminescent creatures darting around them. But as the sonar pinged, a chilling realization emerged. Something large was moving in the trench, and it was getting closer. "What's that?" Claire whispered, pointing to the sonar. Aidan adjusted the display, his face tightening as a massive amorphous blip moved across the screen. "Probably a whale," Marcus muttered, though his voice lacked conviction. The hull creaked ominously as the submarine edged forward. Outside, the shadows seemed alive, twisting and merging into shapes that didn't belong. The eerie quiet was interrupted by a deep, guttural sound reverberating through the water. It wasn't mechanical. It was alive. "We should turn back," Jonah suggested, but Aidan shook his head. "We press on. We come here for answers." Little did they know, the answers they sought would come at a deadly cost. The creature struck without warning. The submarine shuddered violently as a massive tentacle slammed against its side. Sparks flew from the control panels as alarms blared. Through the porthole, Elena caught a fleeting glimpse of the attacker, a grotesque serpentine creature with glowing eyes. It convulsed and changed into sickening shapes with jerk-like motions. "Brace for impact," Aidan shouted as the EREBUS pitched to one side. Marcus scrambled to stabilize the engines while Elena frantically shouted coordinates for evasive maneuvers. "We're being hunted," Claire whispered, her face pale. The creature circled them like a predator playing with its prey. Each strike brought them closer to catastrophe. "If we don't lose it, we're done," Jonah said, gripping his tools. With one final maneuver, Aidan plunged the submarine deeper into the trench, using the rocky terrain to shake the creature. For the moment, they were safe, but the EREBUS was battered, and the creature wasn't far behind. The damage was severe. One of the external thrusters was destroyed, and oxygen levels were dropping. "We need to repair it, or we won't make it out," Marcus said grimly. Aidan made the call. They would attempt external repairs. Jonah volunteered to exit the submarine, attaching himself to a tether. As he worked, the sonar beeped erratically. The creature was returning. "It's here," Elena cried as the monster's shadow loomed. Jonah yelled into his comm,
"I need more time."
The crew watched in horror as the creature struck again, narrowly missing Jonah. Knowing he wouldn't make it back in time, Jonah shouted.
"Cut the tether."
Before anyone could object, he detached himself, swimming toward the creature with a flare gun in hand. His sacrifice distracted the beast long enough for the EREBUS to power up and escape. Jonah's loss weighed heavily on the crew as they descended further into the trench. What they found stunned them. Ancient ruins illuminated by strange glowing orbs. Massive statues and hieroglyphs carved into the rock emerge from the shadow, their intricate details defying comprehension. "It's a city," Elena whispered, her voice filled with awe. As they navigated closer, Elena noticed something unusual. A small, intricately carved object resting among the rubble, glowing faintly. "I think I see something. I'll use the arm to grab it," she said, quickly activating the EREBUS's external manipulator. The robotic claw extended slowly, carefully plucking the artifact from its resting place. "It's part of the ruins," she whispered, securing the artifact inside the submarine. But the creature wasn't done with them. It emerged from the shadows, angrier than ever. The submarine shuddered as the monster attacked, shaking the crew from the moment of awe. Working together, they lured the beast into the ruins. Aiden maneuvered the submarine to fire a final flare into the structure, triggering a collapse that buried the creature under tons of debris. As the dust settled, the crew realized the ruins held more questions than answers. There was no time to investigate. Oxygen was dangerously low, and the submarine was barely operational. The journey to the surface was harrowing. The submarine groaned under the strain of its injuries, and the crew's breaths grew labored. Aiden pushed the EREBUS to its limits. The engine sputtered with every mile. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they saw the first rays of light from the surface. The submarine broke through the waves, battered but intact. The crew gasped for fresh air as they floated in silence, the weight of their journey sinking in. Helena sat quietly, clutching the artifact she had retrieved from the ruins. Its strange carvings glowed faintly in the dim light, a symbol of the mysteries they had uncovered and the price they had paid. "Whatever it is," she murmured, "it wasn't meant to be found." The crew exchanged somber looks. The questions would remain unanswered, for now.